It's looking like Xbox might have a massive advantage over Sony's PlayStation 5 when it comes to chip priority and the amount of consoles being built. This is coming straight from rumors indicating that Xbox might have tried to make a deal to get even more Xboxes out since the chip shortage hit all manufacturing. Let's get into what is being said and also talk about how this could affect Sony's PlayStation 5 console count, but also talk about how this could close the gap between Xbox and Sony in the console space. There's a lot to talk about here, so let's just get right into it. Hey, what's up everyone? Thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to be notified on future content, hit that small little bell icon. And if you want to go that extra mile to support the channel, hit that join button. So enough of that. I just want to get right into these rumors saying that Microsoft might have struck a new deal with factories that are building these next generation consoles. Basically what's happening is that Xbox is able to create far more consoles than Sony can, which in turn shows that they have a lot more consoles out in the market space that people are buying them. And if you've looked at the console sale numbers the last 4 to 5 months, you can easily see that Xbox is selling out, but also outselling the PlayStation 5, which by the way is also selling out. So what's the reason for Xbox selling out just like Sony is, yet are able to get more units out and win the public sales numbers? Well, that might be as simple as Xbox and Microsoft putting money down to get more consoles out there from the manufacturers. In fact, let's just get right into what the article has to say about all of this. Rumor: Microsoft paid for chip priority to increase Xbox Series X and S stock. We've been seeing stock of Xbox Series S and particularly Xbox Series X consoles continue to become more plentiful over the past 6 months or so, mostly at the back end of 2021. And it seems there's a good reason for that. According to the folks on the Xbox Era podcast, Microsoft actually did a deal to get chip priority for the Xbox Series X and S last year, which resulted in the greater availability of consoles, especially in the UK, near Christmas time. Okay, so the first thing I have to say is we should all take this with a massive grain of salt because I'm not sure if this really happened. Now, of course, if it did happen, this wouldn't surprise anyone. We know that Xbox has been diligent in getting their consoles out to the mass market, especially when you look at the demand that consoles have currently. We all know that the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and S consoles have been selling very well. In fact, they probably have the best start to sales in any generation that we've seen for consoles, which is great because it shows that consoles and gaming are thriving. Yet, let's talk about this rumor saying that Microsoft paid for chip priority. This to me is a little weird because if I'm not mistaken, aren't these deals done and ironed out way before the consoles get into production? Doesn't Xbox and Sony have these partnerships with these manufacturers and all of these factories before they start production on these next gen consoles or any console beforehand? So I'm not sure if Xbox just randomly walked into some manufacturer's office and slapped the checkbook down. But it is funny that we have far more Series X consoles out in the market the last several months. I say that because it was almost impossible to get a Series X console for well over a year, and it was also almost impossible to get a PlayStation 5. Yet now, for the last couple of months, you can almost grab one on Amazon or any marketplace wherever you feel like it. And don't get me wrong, Xbox continues to sell out, but then they just come back in stock a few days later, if not a week later, for more people to buy up the console. So maybe what Xbox Era is saying could be true. Maybe Microsoft did actually make a deal to get chip priority. They saw a chink, so to speak, in the PlayStation armor and decided to double down on the amount of consoles they want to sell. And if we look at the timeline of Christmas, it fits perfectly with how the consoles have been flooded in the last several months. Let's see what else the person has to say about this whole thing. Around April last year, I got a DM saying Microsoft's going to have a lot of consoles available this fall, and they did in the end, didn't they? Microsoft paid for chip priority at the factories, which is why we saw so much more and are still seeing so much more Xbox stock now. To me, it's a smart investment. Okay, so I'll be honest, I don't take a lot of stock in someone saying they got a DM and heard this or that. But I do have to think about the business strategy behind all of this, because that's what usually gives us the answers, the true answers. Follow the money, and boom, you usually get to the answer you were looking for. Which brings me to Xbox and what they're doing right now. They are bringing out a lot of consoles and are having a great run of winning NPDs in North America and even outselling other console providers other than Sony. So yeah, we never saw this in the Xbox One generation. We never saw Xbox just dominate sales for so long. Not months, sometimes we'd get 1 month here and there, but it was few and far between. So this generation has changed drastically to the point that they're even outselling Nintendo. That's right. They're outselling the Switch, which is kind of amazing if you look at the Switch's numbers, which is something that is talked about right here. Late last year, Microsoft successfully launched the Halo Infinite Special Edition Xbox Series X, and the stock increase of the standard version led to record UK sales in December, surpassing even the launch month in terms of units sold. Meanwhile, even recently, the Xbox Series X and S were the top-selling consoles in the UK in March 2022, with Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5 both falling behind. If the rumor is true, it seems like the strategy is paying off for Microsoft. So now that we have all of the details, let's break everything down really quickly. Do I think Xbox went and made a deal with factories to get more consoles? Maybe. That could be something they did, and it's probably something they had to do so they can meet demand. Yet I think this is a bigger story and something people aren't really talking about. Making these Xbox consoles takes less materials to make. We heard about the Xbox Series S taking far less materials, and we know that the market was being flooded with those for months. And to so many people's surprise, they sold extremely well. Because of these sales, maybe Xbox was able to make some deals so they can get the Xbox Series X production up and get those out into the market. Which, if you look at the stores selling these consoles, you can easily see that they have Series X's in stock almost weekly, if not almost every day. I know multiple people on social media and in my real life have secured one in the last several months. All of those details have been known for a very, very long time, and something that we've talked about on this channel, talking about how the consoles have been selling well, they're out there now, people are grabbing them, yet they're selling out, but then boom, 2 days later, they're back out on the market. Yet, I want to concentrate on the PlayStation 5. And I know people think I'll bash them and attack them and make fun of them for not selling out and Xbox outselling them. But that's not what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is talk about the truth and talk about what's been reported the last 2 years, rumors and such that have kind of come to fruition, and talk about the rumors of them maybe having a terrible yield rate on their console. Not to mention those overheating problems and them changing how they make the PlayStation 5 consoles just last year. So the first thing is the heating issues that Bloomberg reported a couple of years ago. This was a rumor from a very credible source, not to mention it's something that could affect the factories and manufacturing and how many units they can get out there. And for the most part, we would ignore all of this, right? But if you look at what Sony did when the PlayStation 5 launched last year, it could tell a different story. If you remember last year, there was a new PlayStation 5 model that was being shipped, and a lot of prominent YouTubers made videos dissecting the base PlayStation 5 compared to the new model PlayStation 5 that launched later last year. From the outside, they looked identical, but on the inside, they had a different make and different things in the machine that you can tell easily from just looking inside. From a business standpoint, this was done because it was cheaper for Sony to make those new consoles, which I can't blame them for. They're a business. They want to make money. Yet I also think it was done so they can try to make even more consoles and get more PlayStation 5s out there. Maybe, just maybe, it takes more materials to make these PlayStation 5s, which it does, by the way. So Sony was trying to find a way to become more efficient in the way they create their consoles, just to meet demand, because they're selling out like crazy. In fact, if we remember back in November or December, Sony said they would continue to make PlayStation 4 consoles and maybe support them for a little bit longer. All because they can't create enough PlayStation 5s to meet the demand that the market has. This is something that most people sweep under the rug, but I think it was a big deal. I have a feeling that Sony is struggling to get these many consoles out into the wild, and they even had to change their expected numbers this year. If we remember, they had 25 million or so on tap for the end of spring or May this year, but had to push that number back to 15 or 17 million, if not 18 million. That's almost 10 million units they couldn't make. All the while, Xbox has consoles coming out to people and are outselling the competition. I have a feeling we'll hear more about this in the coming months because I truly think Sony is in trouble here. I'm sure they have some cards up their sleeves, and no matter what that is, they'll need to play those cards soon. Or Xbox might pull away with some amazing console sales while also dropping Game Pass on even more gamers. no matter what the decision is, no matter what Microsoft and Sony do, I love the competition, and it's great for us gamers because, like I said, competition is king, and it's all we want as gamers. And that's exactly what Xbox is doing this generation. Unlike last generation, they tried, but man, did they fall flat on their face. And this year, and this generation with the Xbox Series X, they're really standing tall and going head to head with Sony. No matter what anyone says, the console is selling very well, Xbox is doing extremely well, and Sony's doing well, and that's all good because that just helps us, the gamers, because competition is what we want. But enough of what I think about all this. Tell me what you think about all this. Do you think Xbox signed a new deal? Is Xbox just easier to manufacture than the PlayStation 5? Did Sony make a mistake with their console? Can Sony lock down some factories to make even more consoles for more gamers? Or will Xbox continue to sell like crazy and close the gap between Sony and Xbox? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button to support us out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamertag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. So right now, I've been playing a lot of MLB The Show 2022. I'm having fun with it. I think it's kind of cool. I know it doesn't look as good because I feel like the port was kind of just put on the Xbox. I don't like the way it was ported, but you know what? I'm having fun with the game. It's a little fun here and there. It's very mindless. I play it when I'm in a party with friends and just having a good time. It looks great, so I'm having fun with it. And I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring, not to mention a bunch of Tiny Tina's Wonderland, and I'm jumping into a couple things on my PC like Warzone and Rage 2. I'm just playing a lot of games, kind of mixed matching through them. After playing Elden Ring for a month straight, I wanted to play something different, a little more chill, and that's exactly what MLB The Show is. That's what Tiny Tina's is, and all these other games I'm playing are far more chill than Elden Ring because, man, that takes a lot of effort to play that game, which I loved every minute of it. But let me know what you're playing. Are you playing something on your Xbox Series X, your PlayStation 5, or are you on your PC? Let me know down below because that's what we're here for. It's Stock Games. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.